Everybody, we're here at last. The Great Eight Divisional Round, ready to rumble. Let's play some freaking football. Oh yeah, you've got all the talk, you've got all the yak, and now it is time to see what will be. As you always have to look, trying to figure out. Okay, which flipping tab? Aha, found it. Oh yeah, so here we are, four games to go. As all of a sudden, oh boy, we had 6 games down to four. Then it's going to be two next week, just two normal football Fridays left. Then you have that 2 week long ass hiatus going into Super Bowl Sunday. Let's compare the city skylines of the two teams that are in the Super Bowl endlessly. Oh, good God. Those 2 weeks are coming, and let's have the mayors make the bets. Yabba, 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 yabba. But let's just get right to it. A quick whip around version. As of course, the very first game, Saturday, 4:30, Buffalo and Denver. As yeah, Denver -1 favorite. This game's gonna be close. This game's gonna be close, and uh, definite toss up. Whole definite toss up. Denver's rested. Are they rusty? But the main reason, the main reason here, and I know, people are gonna be like, how can you go against Josh Allen? How do you go against Josh Allen? You're going against Josh Allen strictly because of that patchwork wide receiver room. I mean, the main stars. Keon Coleman now? Keon Coleman? They're hobbling out the whole wide receiver room. A wide receiver whose main infamous, how shall we say, what he is known for this year is being scratched healthy. Healthy scratched a couple of times because of discipline. So yeah, and I know people are okay. Can you trust Bo Nix? Can you trust that Denver offense? I think I can trust Denver's offense combined with their defense more than right now. I trust Josh Allen because we saw James Cook definitely confined. Is there a chance Josh Allen can pull off the upset and somehow defy all known logic and get by Denver at Mile High? Can it be done? Yes, we saw the Jags do it late in the regular season, come right into freaking Mile High and punch Bo Nix and that Denver defense right in the freaking mouth, and they got out of there with a win. And that didn't happen very often in this season. But yeah, as much as you got people pulling for Josh Allen, it's his year, it's his time, it's his window of opportunity is still open. I think Denver slams that window shut this week. Heck of a story, heck of a run, heck of a season, but I think the time winds down and runs out for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills here. Gotta pick. Gotta pick the Denver Broncos to win the early game on Saturday. Then we go to the late game, 8 o'clock. First game, 4:30. Last game, 8 o'clock. San Francisco 49ers rolling in the Seattle Seahawks. And the main question here is how much more injury can this 49ers squad endure? Last week, yet another one, George Kittle taken out of the game. Already so much lost on defense, so much hurting on offense. I know. Once again, like you have Josh Allen with a foot injury, the ankle, at least easily 4 or 5 various injuries. San Francisco, just every time you turn around, somehow this squad has won, has defied sanity, has defied logic, and they're here. But I think George Kittle, the absence of George Kittle, yet another key piece of that offense, that makeshift offense, is gone. Everything is now going to be focused on tongues and CMC, mostly CMC, and what can Brock Purdy do with his arms? Can he get that ball out there in that Seattle defense? Oh boy, when that Seattle defense is switched on, we can see they absolutely can shut you the bleep down without a second thought. And if Sam Darnold can avoid some of those ghosts sneaking in there, it's got to call Ghostbusters. I think Seattle can finally do it, and they can get in to Championship Sunday. I don't think it's going to be easy, even without Kittle. That San Francisco team is still very, very dangerous, but even more dangerous, that Seattle defense. Oh boy. I'm still trying to figure out how my Bucks ended up going and having that shootout win over Seattle early on. When that team is switched on, when Darnold is laser focused, locked into JSN. Oh boy, they are a freaking force of nature. And I just think Seattle has the time, the chance, even with all the question about Sam Darnold and that oblique. I think it's going to be enough for Seattle to get by San Francisco in this divisional round, as just San Fran is too beat up and they keep missing more and more pieces. So for Saturday, have to pick Denver. Denver closed the window of opportunity for Josh Allen, and I'm picking Seattle. Yep, that's right. I'm going both home teams so far. Denver and Seattle. All right. Let's go to Sunday. It gets even colder. If you think Seattle is cold, you think Denver is cold. Every single game just gets colder. Oh boy. And you got Houston, you got New England, you got the Texans, you got the Patriots. And why I'm leaning the Patriots here, it's just very simple. One very simple reason. Once again, you're talking about who isn't there. Nico Collins. Nico Collins, once again, will not be there, along with C.J. Stroud, who definitely looked very mortal in the game against Pittsburgh. That had to be one of the ugliest games I think you can remember in recent memory. Just, oh my good God, the Steelers, absolutely hapless. And somehow the Texans just kept trying to give them chances and kept trying to, oh, here, you want another turnover? You want almost another chance? Here's here, yoink. Yeah, so you look, and besides the fact you don't have Nico Collins, even though I know Houston can be dangerous when that offense gets locked on and switched on. But I think you have the New England double threat combo of Ramondre Stevenson and Trevion Henderson with the legs of Drake May. I think it's not going to be as high scoring a game as we think, just because the Houston Texans defense is amazing. But I just think that New England has enough with that dual threat run game and with Drake May that can just create crap on his own out of the blue. How the hell did he do that? I think that little bit of an edge. And also they're home. They're in Foxborough. I think the New England Patriots have enough on offense to get by that Houston Texans defense. And the Houston Texans offense is once again missing one of its key, absolute main pieces. No Nico Collins. Gotta pick the New England Patriots right here. And then, final game of the divisional round. Yeah, I know. So far, I'm picking the home teams. Am I going to pick the home team one more time? Rams coming into Soldier Field, the coldest matchup of the entire weekend. Not much of a chance. Doesn't sound like it's going to be an ice bowl, but it's going to be a flippin' frigid cold bowl. That's for sure. Possible with the feels like with the wind chill in the negatives. Got the Rams coming in. How banged up is Devontae Adams after getting that word that truck come from hit last game? Boy. And yeah, the Bears. And the Bears. And the main question, because you're thinking about the setup for this game, because you're trying to think of, okay, how can the Bears win? That's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the Rams. You're thinking about their offense. You're thinking about that defense. You're thinking about Puka, thinking about Devontae Adams, even banged up still, can be very dangerous. You think about Matthew Stafford, that entire season that he's had, somehow willing this team to this point. But the Rams come into the very frigid, very cold Soldier Field, and the one thing you have to realize, and you have to ask, Rams, West Coast team, coming all the way east, all the way to the cold, to the different weather conditions. And you tend to look up, when you look up, well, how does Matthew Stafford do under these certain, how shall we say, circumstances? And you look at that record, you're like, ooh, not exactly what you would call promising. And it is solely because of that. And the question of Devontae Adams' health, because that was just one heck of a whack. That was a pretty big whack that he took. So you have all that. You kind of have the question of, are the Bears going to be able to contain Stafford? And this is just a team that, once again, absolutely defies logic just by the fact that the Bears are here in the divisional round. Whew, they are. They are. You already have the F the Packers moment, defeating their hated division rivals. Now I think they have a chance to end up making some history. I know it's a bold call. There wasn't a question about Devontae Adams' health. You had both receivers at 100%. I think I'd pick the Rams without hesitation. But you got Devontae Adams. Just the question of is how banged up is he? Got the Bears home field. Got the Rams coming in after playing a very, very physical game against the Panthers, a game that the Panthers were that close to winning, as opposed to the Bears game that they ended up coming back in the second half and absolutely steamrollering the Packers. Absolutely. So Rams have to be a little bit more physically tired just from having to go head to head against the Panthers. Boom, 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 endlessly. Packers just steamroll. Bears steamroll Packers second half. Two completely different games. I think the Rams are a little bit more physically exerted, exhausted, tired. So yeah, so it's going to be all home teams that I'm picking. As crazy as it is, I'm picking the Chicago Bears to upset the Rams. To recap, picking Denver, end of Josh Allen's window of opportunity. I'm picking the Seahawks just because I think the San Francisco 49ers are really going to miss George Kittle in a very, very, very big way. How many more pieces can they miss and actually function? I'm picking the New England Patriots over the Houston Texans because of the absence of Nico Collins, and I think that will definitely hamper that Houston Texans offense to the point that the Patriots will have just bit, that little factor that will help them to get over the hump. And I'm picking the Bears. I'm picking the Bears because of Matthew Stafford having to deal with the inclement weather going from west to east, and his record not exactly spectacular in situations like this. And what is the health of Devontae Adams? How much did he get banged up, and how much does that affect the whole offense going into a Bears that can ground and pound? So going all home teams, we'll see how right, or we'll see how wrong. I could go 2-2. I could go 0-4. I'd be surprised if we go 4-0. That usually doesn't happen. But hey, so divisional round, we're here. We're ready to go. We're locked in. We're loaded. It's time for some football. So let's go. And I'm still Joel Verl.